The Fender Stratocaster. It complements rock and roll like hot gravy on mash. Released in 1954, it was Leo Fender's second electric guitar in his burgeoning company's stable, and it soon found its way into the hands of countless legendary players. Hi, I'm Shelley from Happy Mag, and here are the stories behind 8 famous Stratocasters. Buddy Holly was one of the first to popularise the Stratocaster when he played it on the Ed Sullivan Show in '57. The Strat had been designed with country in mind, but Holly blew minds when he began to use it for rock and roll. His was purchased new in 1955 from Adair Music in his hometown of Lubbock, Texas, bought using money his older brother had loaned him. Featuring an ash body, maple neck and sunburst finish, Holly was known to fiddle endlessly with his guitar, toggling between pickups and adjusting the tone control to produce a dynamic sound. His chugging rhythms and lead lines that would go on to inspire generations of rock musicians. One of the stranger guitars to take the stage, Van Halen's Strat is one to make Fender purists cringe. Although he lacked the feel and playability of the guitar, he wanted something with a thicker tone, not wanting to resort to the cumbersome load of a Gibson. He sought to get the best of both worlds, taking a beefy PAF pickup from an ES335 and wiring it into a Strat body he picked up for $50 at a factory outlet. He also potted the pickups with paraffin wax to reduce microphonic feedback. Layers of paint and masking tape strips were then added, giving the guitar its famous Pollock-like finish. Another early adopter of the guitar, Hank Marvin, settled on a Strat after seeing Buddy Holly wielding one. He ordered the top-of-the-range model and was immediately enamoured by its futuristic looks, as well as its tremolo system, a handy little addition that would go on to define the Shadow's early releases. His particular guitar also came with thick-gauge strings, limiting Marvin's ability to bend notes. Rather than changing them, he accustomed himself to using the tremolo arm during licks, creating the infamous surfy spaghetti western style that he became famous for. Eric Clapton's Blackie is one of the most famous guitars in history. However, when it came to him and Stratocasters, it wasn't exactly love at first sight. In his early career, Clapton played everything but a Strat, from Gibson SGs to Telecasters, but by the turn of the decade, he decided it was time to give one a go. Blackie was a hybrid of 3 guitars Clapton picked up cheap from a store in Nashville. He took the pickups out of one, the scratch plate off another, the neck off another. It sounded so good that he used it just for about every gig thereafter. David Gilmour's legendary Stratocaster, simply named the Black Strat, joined Pink Floyd shortly after he did. He picked it up in New York in 1970, and it went through a series of changes after that. You can see it in its relatively stock state during the band's '71 Live at Pompeii concert, but after that it had pretty much every component modified bar the body. First, he drilled a hole in its side to install an XLR input to help manage the noise from his fuzz face. Soon after, he replaced the original 60s maple neck with a 1953 rosewood neck, which remained until 1978. But perhaps the most intuitive modification of the Black Strat was the addition of a custom toggle, which allowed Gilmour to select both the neck and bridge pickups. The guitar has featured on many legendary Pink Floyd tracks, such as Money and Comfortably Numb. Stevie Ray Vaughan was a big ambassador for the Strat, and he played a number of different models in his career, but the most famous is his number 1, which was given to him in 1973. The guitar's body was from a 62 model and the neck was from a 63 with a rosewood fingerboard. Inspired by Hendrix, he reversed the tremolo for ease of access and added his initials along the side. Coupled with an Ibanez tube screamer, the guitar produced the classic blues tones heard on all of his studio albums. Although he was associated with numerous Strats over his short-lived career, Hendrix is probably best known for the Olympic white one he played at Woodstock. He purchased the 1968 model from Manny's Music in New York, and it instantly became his favourite. The guitar had a maple neck and a flip nut to accommodate Jimi's upside-down stringing method. A separate maple fretboard was another unique feature which Fender offered for a short stint in the late 60s. Aside from being played at Woodstock, Hendrix used the guitar at his final live performance at the Isle of Fairmont in September 1970. The wild card on this list, Frank Zappa's Stratocaster started life in the hands of Hendrix. Although unclear when, Jimi had burned the guitar at some point previously, and his roadie gave the charred remains to Zappa after a show at the 1968 Miami Pop Festival. Zappa kept the guitar on his wall until the mid-70s, when he decided to give it new life, fitting it with a thick, polished steel pickguard, as well as custom blend knobs and sweepable EQ functions. The guitar was lost for a time before being found under a stairwell in pieces by Frank's son Dweezil, who reconstructed it and continues to play it till this day.